All right, so here's number 5. So looking at number 5, 0.1 to the third power. How do we do it? What does that 3 mean? You know, it's 3 of them, huh? And so just use your calculator. It's going to be 001, isn't it? 0.001. And that's our answer. Is that good on that? Do you all have a calculator? There's no, I should say there's no cell phones on the test, though, because you could text your friends call out for answers. So we can't be doing that. So you do have to have a calculator, not just your cell phone, because cell phones can't be used on the test. So make sure you have something you can use. Let me recommend you. Okay. Can you all see that okay? How is this working? This is pretty small, I think. Can you see that okay? Can you all in the back see it okay? Is this working? For 20 years, I just worked the board. And about 4 or 5 years ago, I started the technology thing because I could save lectures online for people. But this is small, so let me know if this isn't working for you. All right, so try that one. Work that one out. Use your calculator if you want to, by hand, whatever. Get an answer there.
90.
We all got an answer. We'll give you a second to get an answer on that one. So Shelby will be cruising around every now and then. Feel free to raise your hand if you have a question. She's here to help you. I hope you see my style. I do one, give you one. Right? So feel free to talk with each other as long as it's not distracting people around you. Check with each other. Ask Shelby.
The multiplication first. It's 74. I get it wrong first.
Change your mind?
I think so. Yeah, because you simplify multiplication first and then do the other operation. Right?
Right.
So it's 74.
So what's the deal? Can I go 8 plus 2 is 10 times 9 is 90?
No.
I could, but I'd be wrong, huh? Yeah, PEMDAS. Please excuse my dear Ansel. Yeah, the math is not just left to right. It's left to right, but with a certain order, and the order is the PEMDAS thing. Have you heard of that before? PE. Let me write that up. That's what they're getting at in this question. Do you know the order of? Do you know that the multiplying has to be done first? 9 times 8 is 72. Then you add the 2. The real answer is 74, huh? Right? Now, let me make sure you understand PEMDAS. What in the PEMDAS, or the old-fashioned saying is, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, the P, what does the P stand for?
Parentheses.
Parentheses. What does the E stand for? Exponents, like powers, you know? I can't write and talk here. Exponents. M and D? Multiply, divide. AS, add, subtract. Huh? Yeah, so notice I put M and D on the same level, because they are. Sometimes people write it all down. M and D should be level with each other. A and S should be level, because they're equal priority. So anyway, notice what's last. Adding, subtracting is last. Adding, subtracting is always last. All right, so that's why we do the adding. So really, you don't really have to memorize PEMDAS. Really, I've had lots of students over the years even write PEMDAS on the side of their paper and do the problem wrong. It's not math is not about memorizing. It's really not. It's about understanding. And the main thing to understand is that adding, subtracting is last. If you just remember that, you'll probably do everything fine. Just remember, adding, subtracting is last. The rest of the stuff will come pretty natural. The adding, subtracting, that's the part they can trick you on. Remember, adding, subtracting, that's the first operation you ever learned as a kid, was adding, huh? First math operation, was adding. So remember, that's the lowest level, that's the last. Adding, subtracting. If you just remember that, you'll probably be fine. That's all it. Please excuse me, dear Aunt Sally. So try that. Make it a little bigger for you. 48 divided by 6 times 2. So all right. What do I? Well, let me give you just a second more. What do I do first on this problem?
Divide.
Do I divide or do I multiply? Whatever you want. Whatever your mood. How you feeling?
It's from left to right. So it's divide, isn't it?
Well, can we agree that the crucial question is, are M and D equal priority? Or should it be like this? And it's not. I already told you it's not like that, right? They are equal priority. So you see, this is why I'm making a big deal out of that, because it matters on this problem, for example. If this was how it really was, it's not, then you'd have to do multiplying before dividing. You'd have to do that and make it 12 first. But that's not how it is. Multiplying and dividing are equal level. So what does that mean, equal? You got to do somebody first. Right, so if two things are equal, you go left to right. So you do the dividing first, actually. Does that make sense? That's why I'm emphasizing that M and D are on the same level, just like A and S are on the same level. So then, when two things are equal, you go left to right. So 48 divided by 6, what's that? 8 times 2, 16. Not whatever the other answer would have been 4, I think, or something. Does that make sense? So M and D are same level. Multiplying and dividing are the same thing, aren't they? Dividing is just upside down multiplying. Just like subtracting is adding a negative. See how, right? Adding, subtracting are the same thing. Multiplying, dividing the same thing. So they're equal level. So then when they're equal, you just go left to right. All right, so we've got 27 minus 5 times 3 all over. That dot is times. That dot in the middle, it's not a decimal, right? It's times. 5 times 3. So anyway, go ahead. Crank that one out. Feel free to check with those around you. Check with Shelby if you have questions. Very good.
I would never look too
So are you all getting 4? 4 should be the answer. Coming on down to 4. If you're not getting 4, check with somebody who is. All right, so what do we do first? Can I go up here and subtract 27 minus 5? No, what's the main thing? You can forget the whole PEMDAS and just remember what? What's last? What's always last? Adding, subtracting. If you just remember that, you'll probably be fine. Adding, subtracting is last. That's all you need to remember from PEMDAS. Adding, subtracting is last. So don't subtract. Do everything else first. So multiply those first. And now we'll subtract. 27 minus 15. What's that? 12. 5 minus 2 is 3. And 3 goes into 12 4 times. Good there? Does that make sense? Can I ask a trick question? I'm kind of hesitant. I don't want to confuse you. You're all so happy about that. But isn't there a sense in which we just violated PEMDAS? What am I talking about? Divide? Yeah, how so? Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. Well, what was the last thing I just did here? What was the last thing I did? It was dividing, wasn't it? And how's it supposed to go? P, kind of bumped it there. P, E, M, and D. What's supposed to be last? And I did what last? And you were all happy with that? See, there's no real math rules anyway. We just all kind of make it up as we go along. No, there is. What it is when there's, and that's why I hesitate to say it, because you naturally, I know everybody naturally does it right, so I really don't want to bug you. There's enough stuff that you won't naturally do right that I need to spend time helping you with. So let me just quickly say, though, when there's a bar, there's a separation, and you do the top and the bottom first. The fraction bar actually is implied parentheses. That's what it is. I don't want to go into more detail and bug you, because you'll do it right naturally, so I won't bug you too much. But it is right because a bar actually means something more than division. It means a separated division, like parentheses. So we did the right thing. It is right. We're not really violating PEMDAS, because that's what a fraction bar really means. All right. Okay, 3 plus 2, 4 plus 8, 7. Can you all see that okay? So we want to work that out. So PEMDAS, what are you going to do first? Parentheses, right? Which means this 4 plus 8 here? 12. So that'll become 3. So do that first. That makes sense there. So I did the parentheses first. So we good to there. So now 2 times 12. 24, 7 squared is 49. Let's do both those at the same time. Doesn't really matter. And so that's what? 27, 58. Is that reducible? I don't think so. You try your calculator. It doesn't reduce. Nothing goes into those guys. So that's just. We always have to reduce fractions when we can, though, right? But that one doesn't reduce. So let's just get right there. Bless you. Good there? All is well? Okay. Okay, so this is number 12. So try that one. So where do you start? Well, what's up with brackets? What are brackets? How do they work? They're just a fancy parenthesis. Yeah, brackets are just a different style of parenthesis. Just treat them like a parenthesis. Same exact thing. Just do the parenthesis thing. So where do you go first? Yeah, the very inner parentheses. You want to start right in here in these inner parentheses and do the 7 times 2, huh? Start from the innermost parenthesis and work your way out. So 7 times 2.
So the brackets make it a multiplication? 10 parentheses do?
Brackets, yeah, that'll be multiplied eventually. Yeah, right. You want to kind of do, try not to do like the whole thing at once. I mean, unless you're really good, it'd be hard. See how I just did a little bit there and kind of came down? See how that's working? 14 minus 10, 4. When do parentheses or brackets like vanish? When something from the outside goes in. Let's say that again. So how do you know when the parentheses or brackets vanish from the scene? Like why are they still here? Well, because nothing from the outside has gone in yet. I just did all inner stuff. But now 10 times 4, 40, and the parentheses will vanish, huh? You ever see what I'm saying? When something from the outside goes in, it's almost like a floodgate, right? You got a wall up. When they let the wall down, the water goes in. That's kind of like it is. What is? I'm going to let these parentheses down. The 10 will multiply, and it's 40, and the parentheses are gone. Think of it that way. So then, it's going to become 40. We get to there so far? Kind of taking it slow and careful. Did you guys get the answer to this one?
Minus 44?
100. You're at 28.
So the real answer is 28. If you're getting 100, remember the main rule I told you about PEMDAS. What was the main thing I said remember? What's last? Don't do this too early. Don't add 8 and 2 until the end. Right? That's adding. That's adding. When is that done? Last. Do everything else first. I'll show you.
So 2 times 10 first.
Exactly. Right? Because adding's last. All right. So let's do the next one. Yeah, it's tempting to add that 8 and 2 out there. But at this point, you see how the 2 and 10 must be multiplied first? So that's why I'm saying the main thing to remember with PEMDAS is adding, subtracting is last. If you keep that straight, you'll probably be fine. That's where people get fooled. So this will be 8 plus 20, 28. Good there? You'll never be fooled again on that?
I won't say that.
So they're giving me x, y plus z. So x, y plus z. And they're telling me x is 3, y is 6, z is 8. They want me to plug those in and work the thing out. When you plug into formulas, it's best to put parentheses around the things you're plugging in. It doesn't really matter so much on this one, but on other ones it will. It's a good habit. So I'll put parenthesis around the 3, plug in for x. Parenthesis around the 6, plug in for y. Parenthesis around the 8, plug in for z. Good so far? Now what do I do first to work that out? Multiply first, huh? 3 times 6 is 18. Add the 8. What's that? 26. And we're done. So just plug it into formulas. Okay, so here's question number 17. Whoops. Oh, something. Okay, so I'm on number 18. It's asking me, is 3 a solution to that equation? They're proposing an answer. They're saying, hey, is 3 the answer? How do you know? It's a yes-no question. How do I figure out, just yes or no, how do I figure out if 3 is an answer, or the answer, to that equation? What do I do? Idea?
Plug 3 in for x.
Yeah, you could plug 3 in, or you could solve it, either way. Yeah, I'll just plug in 3. It's a good idea. Let's just plug in 3 and see what happens. So I'm going to just pop in 3 right there and pop in 3 right there. And see if it comes out equal, right? Because if something's really an answer, it balances the equation, doesn't it? Makes it true. So let's see. 15 plus 6, is that 21? 21 equal 21, yeah? It's a yes. 3 makes that true. Balances the equation. Good. There. Does that make sense? All right. So this is number 21. 3 more than a number. They want you to use an x. It says use x. So 3 more than a number. How do you do the 3 more than a number thing? How do you write that in math language with an x? Well, what would x to the third mean? Is that right? Is that what I do? That would mean x times x times x. Remember with little numbers nip right home? That's not what they're saying, huh? They're not saying x multiplied by itself 3 times.
It's x plus 3.
Yeah, it's just simply add 3. X plus 3, isn't it? 3 more than... Now, could you put the 3 in the front? Is that okay? Does the order of adding matter? Is 2 plus 3 any different than 3 plus 2? It's 5 either way you do it. Or either one. I'll just say or. And Math Excel knows that. It'll take either answer. It knows the order of adding doesn't matter. Both are good. Either one's fine. So 3 more means add 3, doesn't it? What would, well, yeah, let's just leave it at that. Let's move on. So 3 more. So the ratio of a number and 11. How do I write that? And when we use x again. Ratio. What does ratio mean? Fraction. Ratio means fraction. Are you aware of that terminology? Ratio is fraction. So what am I going to write? I'm going to use x. X over 11. Hey, does the order matter? Could I put the 11 on the top?
No.
Does the order matter in a fraction? Absolutely, right? Think about it, right? 2, one, yeah. Whichever one's on the top is different than the one on the bottom. Like 1/3 is different than 3 over 1, right? 1/3 of a pi is different than 3 pies, right? The order matters in a fraction. So I have to keep it in the order it comes in the sentence. The number, and it's x over 11. The number is the x. On that. So 1 increased by 1 equals, so they want you to see if you can write the two sides. There's the equal sign in the middle. So you want the left side, the equals, and then the right side. And the key word, what does quotient mean? Divide. Yeah, it means divide. So no, it's like ratio. So it's a fraction. It means divide. Quotient means divide. Fraction, in other words.
6 and 3, that's an adding. 6 plus 3 is 9.
Excuse me.
So 6 plus...
So 1 increased by 1. Let's start with the left side. 1 increased by 1. How do you do that? That's just 1 add 1. Increased by means added, right? 1 increased by 1. 1 add 1. Equals, now the other side, the quotient, the dividing of 6 and 3. 6 over 3. Does that make sense? Is that a true statement? Yeah, 2 equals 2. Huh? That good? Questions on that? Quotient is divide? Number 20. 20 minus 4 times a number is 20. See if you can write that. They want you just to write out the whole equation that they have there.